We have a special guest. Anthony, why don't you introduce him?
If anybody was fortunate enough to watch the Amanda Nunes last pay-per-view, you were lucky enough to see this middleweight beat the holy living hell out of Charles Byrd. And at one point, I think his punches actually kept him standing before he actually took a deep breath and he fell. We're talking to Maki Coconut Bombs Pitolo. How you doing, Maki?
Good. Aloha, guys.
We are good, man. How are you and your family doing with this pandemic over there in Hawaii?
Right now, everything's going good. My family's healthy. Everybody's living, so that's all I can ask for right now. But as far as the pandemic goes, we just can't wait till everything opens back up and is, kind of back to normal.
Maki, why don't we get into the fight? Going into the weigh-ins of that fight, and a lot of people were going back and forth who was going to win the fight. Me and Anthony, during the show, we both took you on the fight because of your power, your unbelievable power.
And because we're smart.
Yeah, we're smart.
We're educated.
Very few.
We're educated. We're educated, unlike certain people that work for ESPN. But anyway.
Well, as you know us and get to know us, we like to take shots at everybody else. So just be aware of who we are.
Great, but it's justified. It's justified. It's justified.
So going into the fight, what was the opportunity to taking this fight, and why when you got into the ring and really got ready for the fight? What were your thoughts before you got into the fight?
So the weigh-ins was real exciting. It was my welcoming party to the 185 division. I feel like I belong in that division. Over the years, when you're young, it's easy to make weight, so 170 wasn't a factor. But as I got older and I put on the manly muscles, that's when it started getting a little bit tougher. So 85 definitely was exciting, and it was official. As soon as I stepped on the scale and I weighed in, 185 and a half, money. And I feel like it's just the beginning for me as far as the weigh-ins. Seeing my guy Charles Byrd, it was killer be killer for me at that moment. As soon as I lay eyes on my opponent, I'm looking through this guy. I'm looking right at him, and I'm staring at him in his soul, and just seeing seeing the best man that I'm supposed to be fighting the next day. I'm just looking at him like, this is the guy. This is the guy that I signed the contract for. This is the guy that's been running my life for the past 3 to 4, maybe 5 weeks. He's gonna get his,
Mm-hmm.
And going into the fight, it's just my mind. I try to be as calm as I can when I walk in the ring. I don't like to have a lot going through my mind. And besides, I have enough running through my mind when I'm walking out there and I'm hearing my name, I'm hearing the crowd chanting, and I hear my walkout music. Dozens and dozens and dozens of questions are running through my mind, and I just want to be as calm as I can be as soon as I step into the octagon and have kind of like a blank mind. So when I go, before I even walk in, I always take at least 3 or 4 deep breaths, and after that, it's just calm, cool, and collected. I keep running through my mind and stay chill and have fun and live in the moment.
So, Maki, going into this fight, before this, I believe you had a fight that was canceled. There was a fight that you were supposed to have that was canceled. Now, when you're preparing to go into that fight, and then you find out it's canceled, because I think that fight was in February, right before all of these shutdowns with the COVID and everything, what did you do to keep yourself composed? Well, here's the thing. Did the UFC say, we're already scheduling you for the next one? Is it things up in the air? What kind of security did they give you so you weren't, pretty much in limbo with that?
Yeah, after what had happened in that series of unfortunate events, I did get to talk with the UFC, and they let me know, clearly 170 is not the division for you. You almost killed yourself trying to make the weight, so we're gonna move you up to 85. And the good thing is you're one of the 85 you can stick in there on a 3 to 4 weeks notice. But tell you the truth, I just want to be ready at all times. So 185 is perfect for me. I can stay ready, be ready within a week's notice, maybe the next day's notice too, if it has to be. But definitely they gave me. It felt like it was a security when they told me that 70 wasn't division, so we'll try at 85. So at the back of my head, I'm okay. I got the green light that I will have another fight, but I don't know when. So when this COVID thing was going off, I was expecting myself to not fight for the rest of the year. So I kind of took a break from it all.
Now you've been fighting. Yeah. You've been fighting pretty much since your teenage years and such. So you've been fighting since you were like 18, 17?
Yeah, my first fight when I turned 17.
First fight was. See how much more fun things are in Hawaii.
Well,
out here, damn politicians, man.
I'm pretty bored of New York. I mean, Maki, you don't want to be in New York, man.
No, unfortunately, it's fun around like the holidays sometimes, but
it's fun for a couple days.
Taxes are a pain in the ass.
There's no humidity
traffic,
over there in Hawaii. That's for sure.
You know what I mean? The traffic. We get to walk around in shorts all year.
I like
tank tops and surf shorts. Go to the beach every day.
Dude, he goes to the beach every day, and it's called breakfast. We go, and it's called a weekend.
Yeah, well, I've never been to Hawaii. I've been all over the world. I've never been to Hawaii. I definitely want to go over there, but I heard it's very expensive.
Very expensive.
As you
it's the price to live in paradise.
As you guys know, we are talking to UFC fighter Maki Coconut Bombs Pitolo. Maki, what is it like fighting in front of no one? I mean, seriously, you're fighting in front of no fans. You have a bunch of ring announcers. I mean, you practically can hear the ring announcers when you're in the octagon. What is it like fighting in front of no fans?
It felt like another realm, but honestly, if I'm being honest, it felt like another sparring session going in there and not hearing anybody. You dial it in, you kind of, when there is a crowd, you still hear the boos and the cheers, but you're still so focused on the task at hand that you don't really notice the crowd cheering and everything like that. So for me, it was just another fight, but it was really cool to hear the announcers on the side, to hear my corner very clearly, to hear my punches landing, to hear the guy dying under me. It was something else.
Now in Hawaii, you're basically the next wave of these young up and coming. I shouldn't say young up and coming because, like you said, you've been fighting since you were 6. So
he's 29 years old.
Hey, listen,
that came out the womb.
Dude, he was a veteran in like the 6th grade. So when it's coming from Hawaii, you're basically the next wave with that whole legacy from BJ Penn, Kendall Grove, Max Holloway, who's already established as champion, and all that, and now you're coming through. Yeah. Now, when it comes to the UFC, or I shouldn't even say UFC, the MMA fight scene, the fight scene in Hawaii has been big even way back even in the 90s, I remember, because now one of the bigger promotions is, I believe, Trinity, Rachel Ostowich's father's promotion, correct?
Yes, correct.
But you came out of Victory. That was the big promotion that you came out of before going to Bellator and then coming to the Contender Series, right?
Right.
So now, leading from Bellator, you only had one fight in Bellator?
I only had one, yes, and that was when they came to Hawaii, the first showing.
And then after that, that's when Dana White decided to gobble you up and put you up against Justin Sumner, who everybody knows in the New York area. He's been an amateur champion over here and such, and then he went over out of Connecticut. He was working with Nick Newell.
It's funny you said gobble him up. I mean, we were just talking about Dana White looks like he ate a couple of too many donuts. And now all of a sudden you just use
Maki,
gobble it up.
You're going to get used to this the more you come on this show. Errol is obsessed with Dana White.
I am not obsessed with Dana White.
Obsessed.
I'm just not a big fan of him.
It's like single white female over here. He's obsessed.
Single white female.
He's got like a bald cap in the back, and he starts like talking about himself in the third person and starts cursing out, throwing F-bombs all over the place.
Hold on one second.
It's a secret love.
You never hear me say any F-bombs on this show. Ever.
No, that's why I said you do it in private.
Well, that's true.
That's what most stalkers do.
Well, look, you know what it is, Maki? Maki, I get really upset because when I look at, I'm a big boxing fan, and I was a boxer, and I did mixed martial arts for a couple of years as well. When I look at Dana White and I look at the UFC, I think they should be paying their fighters. I absolutely think they should be paying their fighters. And I'm looking at some of these undercard fighters. They're making pennies to the dollar. And you talk about some of these boxers right now. They're on the undercard and they're making $500,000, $600,000. One of my friends is a professional boxer. He knocked out Bernard Hopkins out of the ring, and he's making about $500,000 to $600,000 a fight. And you look at somebody like you. We look at you, Maki, and you're not making anywhere close to that money. That bothers me. That really bothers me.
Yeah, it bothers me too.
It bothers
me too, man.
To me, it has a lot to do with Dana White. It has a lot to do with the UFC organization. And I think they mistreat their fighters. And I sit here all the time sticking up for the fighters. And some people think that I hate Dana White. I don't hate Dana White. I dislike the fact that he is worth almost $300 million and he doesn't pay his fighters. That's what bothers me about Dana White. Anything else? I know he's trying to bring in fighters. I know he's trying to figure things out and trying to bring in the new wave of fighters, and you're one of them. And I'm looking forward to watching your next fight and seeing what you're going to do in the 185 division. But what bothers me more than anything is somebody like you who deserves the money. And I'm looking at you right now. I think career disclosed earnings is $20,000. I mean, seriously. You should be making more than that.
Yeah. Add another zero, another 2 zeros to that, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
This game is crazy. We are a young sport still in the world, where UFC, ONE FC, Bellator, we're all, you know, we're still just kids amongst the football players, the NBA, boxing. So we still got some growing to do. But I definitely do feel like we put more time in than any of these other athletes to our craft to dedicate, especially if we're shining like the way we are. So there is classes, there is levels to it, and I know my worth. So within these next 2-3 fights that you guys are about to see, I'm looking to leapfrog and jump the pond to the deep end of the money pool.
Maki, you need an agent? I'll be your agent, man.
No, you don't.
I will be your agent.
Not him.
I will be your agent. Trust me.
That's going to go over real well when Dana White says, so we got another fight for Maki. Oh, who the hell are you? Yeah, that's going to be real good. Yeah.
I'll help you out, man.
Who do they have now?
I've been listening to some podcasting lately, and I'm a big fan of Mike Tyson already, but he said something that stuck with me. The future is in our mouth, man. So I highly believe my mouth will bringing me a bright future in the next couple of fights, guys. Just wait on it and watch. Got some king shit coming out.
Speaking of which, when you say your next couple of fights, it seems like now with this whole COVID era of the fight scene, they're turning over fights really, really fast. So you're seeing guys fight
real quick,
you know, every month. Just about. You're seeing fighters just about every month repeating and such. Have they already lined you up for an up and coming bout or a couple or possibly a couple of prospective opponents?
To tell you the truth, they haven't. No opponents really brought to my door yet, but I'm staying ready. When this next month of Fight Island is over and they bring it back to Las Vegas is when I'm looking to perform again. I don't really want to fly across the world. I'm already on an island, and Fight Island should be on my island. So when they do come here, I'm ready. You know, I'm ready to help defend my village and what we do.
And it's just really quick, and it seems not to cut you
off. No, go ahead.
And it seems like with some of these cases where the guys are getting pulled out the week of the fight, I mean, would you be open if they turned around? I mean, like you said with the Fight Island thing, if they turned around and hey, listen, Maki, we need you, man. Somebody's out. We want to fill the spot. What do you think?
Pay me the money.
Well, you want to know something? Now he's got leverage. Now he's got leverage.
To my contract.
What I would say, Maki, this is what I would say. Show me the money. That's what I'd say. Show me the money. If you ever seen Jerry Maguire.
He might be too young for that.
No.
He's not as old as us.
I know that one, man.
No, this is where I try to start making fun of our age. That's all.
Shit.
Maki, you've seen Jerry Maguire, right?
Yes.
You see? He's a Jerry Maguire fan. There we go.
He didn't say he liked the movie. He just said he heard of it.
He's seen it.
I heard of it.
Oh, he's heard of it.
There you go.
Oh, God, Maki.
I've seen that clip, though.
That's right. Cuba Gooding Jr., which I interviewed a couple of years ago in Miami. As you guys know, we are talking to UFC fighter Maki Coconut Bombs Pitolo. Where did you get your nickname, Coconut Bombs?
Honestly, I just wanted a cool Instagram name at first. I was tired of having Maki Pitolo and M Pitolo as my username. So I just wanted something cool, and then it kind of just stuck with me. I was like, hey, you know what? I should use my ID name as my nickname. I throw bombs anyways, and I love the accent. So I'd used it once, and it stuck with me from there on.
After his last fight, I mean, the guy could call himself whatever the hell he wants. I mean, Coconut Bombs, what the hell? Call him whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. There's just me, man.
How about Atomic Bomb? How's that?
Listen, the last person who should be talking about nicknames is you.
Well, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
See, he even agreed.
Maki. First of all, he calls himself Panda, and he calls his team
Look
Panda.
at me, Maki. Look at me.
If you look at
Panda
this guy,
fits. Okay.
Okay, and I call myself Team Gratitude. I give
God,
people all the inferior greatness of who I am as a person. So Gratitude is my nickname, and I'll tell you this right now. I don't really have a nickname. You want to call me asshole? You can call me asshole on this show. I could care less.